Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. This is the 45th year the Steve Kane Show has been on the radio and still going strong, counting down to the big 50th anniversary on the radio. That's right. Steve Kane started out with Marconi himself. That's right. Well, we've got a lot to talk about and some sad stuff to talk about with this god-awful school shooting in Texas. I mean, this is just, it's god-awful. 19 children dead, 2 teachers. It's tragic. I mean, it's just tragic. You know, there's, when these things happen, and, you know, unfortunately, a lot of them have happened, including one in our own community in Parkland at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School a few years back. It's a terrible tragedy. These were babies at this school. I mean, these are babies, the littlest of the littlest school kids. And immediately, I mean, my goodness, they're getting political. This Democrat takes to the floor of the Senate and makes a bizarre speech. Kamala Harris comes out and babbles. Biden comes out last night, fresh off the plane from Asia, and makes a political speech and lays blame. Sometimes people, there's no one to blame sometimes when certain things happen. But I will tell you this, there are things that can be done. I was watching a lot of the coverage, and I got up really early this morning to catch the overnight coverage to see where the mainstream media were going. And Fox is interviewing people about having, like, armed parents at schools, retired military at schools, retired police at schools. That's all. That's not the solution at all. Blaming the NRA and guns, that's not the solution either. We'll talk about that as the show goes on. The thing about the military, you know, the military veterans are well-trained and good people. But I don't think they're trained in police tactics and defense tactics for a school situation, especially retired. And not everyone who is retired military has that kind of experience. They have support. You know, it's all those suggestions are bad. I'll tell you, you know, people say, well, you know, these mass shootings are a new phenomena the last 20 plus years. We're the only country in the world that has them. And, you know, I don't know if we're the only country in the world that has problems. There are countries all over the world that have all kinds of problems. And Biden comes back from Asia, and the Asian leaders, and we don't have this in our country. Really? What were the Japanese doing? What did the Japanese do in China during the Second World War? The most chilling book, the most difficult book I've ever read is about, it's called The Rape of Nanjing. It's what the Japanese did in China, in Nanjing in particular. The Bataan Death March in the Philippines. What did they, you know, come on. You know, and Europe, they brought us the Inquisition and the Holocaust, 2 world wars, and they're about to bring us another world war. You know, that goes on. You know, these foreign countries that put themselves on this pedestal of perfection, it's absurd. And there's things going on now in countries around the world. It may not be exactly what we are dealing with, but they're dealing with a lot of things. What's going on south of the border throughout all of Latin America? Come on. You know, and it really burns me when I see not just Biden, but when I see American elected officials, it's mostly Democrats, and members of the mainstream media tell us how wonderful the rest of the world is because they don't have this exact problem. Well, we don't have a narco economy. with drug cartels running our government like they do in Latin America. We don't have forced labor slave camps like they have in North Korea or China. Enough of this, that all the other world countries are better than us because they don't have this exact thing. That's ridiculous. But I'll tell you one thing, though. Since Columbine, I want you to think about this. Since Columbine, with all the outrage, rightly so, after Columbine, what has been changed among our school system throughout this entire country to bring security? At Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, that monster is still not been sentenced. All this talk of armed security at the schools. At Parkland, there was an armed sheriff's deputy, the coward of the county. He went and hid because he was afraid of Nicholas Cruz. Called in fake radio calls. Went and hid when he could have confronted Nicholas Cruz on the first floor before he went up the top 2 floors where he did most of his terrible things. Had a coward cop there who should be in prison for manslaughter, quite frankly. But nothing has changed since Columbine. There have been other incidents around the country. We know them all. Sandy Hook, this one, Parkland, a bunch in between of different sizes. And nothing has been done to protect the schools. I'll tell you one thing. When I was a kid going to school in Ohio, in elementary school, this was in the 70s, 80, 81, up through that period before I came to Florida. The schools were built like in the 40s and the 50s. Some of them maybe even in the 30s up there then. And the way the schools were was much different than the way the schools are today. The schools were one big schoolhouse, one big building, right? Any of you ever go to a school like that was in one big building? Now you have these campuses that are spread out with how many buildings? Parkland, that was building 12, wasn't it, where it happened instead of one big building? The way that schools are constructed are impossible to secure. You cannot secure schools the way that schools are designed, laid out, and constructed today with all these buildings. New schools should be built with the one big schoolhouse. That would help. That's not going to stop, but it would help because you can secure it. How do you secure these things? You would need to have an entire police force surrounding these schools to protect them because they're so spread out. It's probably corruption among the school boards with land. If you have one big school building, you don't need as much land to sell well over its value to the county. As you do if it's all spread out, I don't know. But that's one thing that could do it, that could help. But even if the schools were incapable of being penetrated, they could go to the bus, they'll go somewhere. Lunatics are going to do what insane lunatics do. You really have it's very difficult to stop insane people. Now, I know the Democrats and Biden and everyone else want to blame the NRA. I watched Jesse Kelly, and he had on last night, Jesse Waters. I keep calling him Jesse Kelly. I was watching Jesse Waters last night, and he had on, oh man, I just forgot her name. She used to be with the NRA. I've met her too, and I cannot remember her name. But you know what I'm talking. She used to be a spokesperson for the NRA, and she's a radio talk show host. And Jesse Waters asked her about the NRA convention they're having, which I do think would be smart to not have that coming up right now. In radio, if there's a plane crash, for example, you don't run airline commercials, for a while. Yeah, Dana Loesch. Thank you very much, Chuck, in our YouTube live chat. Dana Loesch had a great response when Jesse Waters asked her about the NRA. Dana Loesch said, I'm tired of law-abiding citizens being held accountable and have to defend themselves against what lawless individuals do. And yeah, the guns were bought legally, just like in Parkland. But I will tell you this, okay? Both about Nicholas Cruz and this killer in Texas. Both of them not only are completely insane, it's insanely obvious that they are insane. I'm not going to go through it again, but you guys, I've talked about in the past how I had a run-in with Nicholas Cruz prior to the Parkland event at the Wawa gas station convenience store. He scared me, and I could tell he was insane. He was completely insane. This shooter, this killer in Texas, to me, he looks insane. You look at those photographs of himself. To me, he looks like the Night Stalker, the serial killer, the Night Stalker Ramirez, is what he looked like to me. If I were a gun dealer, I would not have sold guns to either Nicholas Cruz or this monster from Texas. You can tell by looking at them, they're insane. They're crazy. You know, and I'm not saying that there should be regulations requiring gun stores to do anything quite yet. We'll talk. I do have one thought, which I'll share in a bit, and I want to take your calls and thoughts on it. But remember Nicholas Cruz, before he was even caught and identified, they were interviewing kids in front of the schools that says, I think Nicholas Cruz did this, because they knew he was so scary and so crazy. That's why the cop was hiding. I told you my experience. And this kid was a similar thing. Okay? So I wouldn't have sold guns to either of them. You can tell by looking at them, they're lunatics. Lunatics. You know? So I think there needs to be some responsibility with gun sellers at gun stores. You're not required to sell to anybody anything, are you? I don't think so. And I went to a gun store recently, a few weeks back, and the type of guns that you see are very fashionable now. I wanted to buy, and I'm still thinking. I'm thinking about buying a new rifle, a 12 gauge shotgun. And I went to the one of the gun stores, one of the big gun stores, for home protection, by the way, is why I would be buying the 12 gauge. It is hurricane season after all, and if power gets knocked out, I hardly recognize the 12 gauges. They're all high tech and jazzed up, and all the guns are made to look fancy and different and everything else, and it's not, they're not my kind of thing. I mean, I know this is the kind of, I like a more traditional looking one, and so I do agree that the guns are made to look more fashionable and threatening and cool, but none of that is the problem. None of that is the problem. Like Nicholas Cruz, this kid had been bullied so much, I think he dropped out of high school. Nicholas Cruz was bullied. Kids from Parkland talked about being bullies of him, making fun of him, just like this kid was bullied. No one's responsible except the shooter. I'm not blaming anyone or anything other than the killer. But there's an old catchphrase that NRA members and others use: if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns. And in most every instance, when someone commits a mass shooting, like the one we had here in Florida at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, the shooters, there's a few things they do have in common. One of the things they have in common is they like to go to places where no one can shoot back most of the time. The Orlando shooter from Pulse nightclub, his original target was Disney World. He went there. There was armed security there, police officers, so he left and he went to the Pulse nightclub because there were no armed people there protecting it. Schools, for the most part, are completely open and unprotected. Very few of these shootings happen where there's an armed presence. That's I know we had the resource officer, the coward deputy in Parkland who was hiding and calling in the fake radio calls and everything else. There's a bit of an exception there. Another thing, and I'm sure there are some exceptions to this, there's an age factor. It seems to me in most every instance, they're under the age of 25. Again, there's always an exception to every statement, but they're usually under the age of 25. And one thing I would throw out to you, and I'd like to ask your thought on this. We have a lot of gun control in this country today. There's a lot of gun control laws. The idea that there's no gun control is just, it's false. It's a lie. There's all kinds of restrictions on gun ownership. Of the many restrictions on gun ownership, we do have age restrictions. 18 for long guns, 21 for handguns. Now, that means purchasing. You cannot purchase a rifle till you're 18. You cannot purchase a handgun till you're 21. But you can still possess a weapon younger than that, even when you're underage. Like, first time I used a weapon, I was 12, hunting, all right? 410 shotgun. What would you say, and I'll throw this out to you, what would you say about raising the age to purchase a gun of any kind to 25? Now, again, I know people say, well, what about police? What about military? That's different. They're trained. It's a controlled situation. They're part of a agency and all of that, of government. But what would you think about raising the age to purchase guns to 25? Would that help? Because most of these shootings, I don't know, I haven't really broken down the ages, but aren't they under 20? And again, nothing is, the liberal idea that if we just do everything they want, we're going to live in a utopian society and there'll be no problems and everything will be perfect. There's nothing's going to be foolproof and stop anything. But I'll throw this out to you. I'm not advocating for that, and I'm kind of processing this in my mind. The drinking age used to be 19, right? I remember when it was 19. I was underage, and they raised it to 21. It might have even been 18 at one time to buy beer. I don't remember. But I do remember there was a drinking age of 19 when I was very young. And they raised it, and that's a good idea. And the reason it's a good idea to raise it to 21 to buy alcohol is because 19's too close to the high school kids. Too many of those creepy 19, 20-year-olds hanging around with the high school kids. You know what I mean? But maybe I'm really haven't settled on this yet, but it's been something I've thought about before, even after Parkland. Should the age to purchase guns be raised to 25? Would that help? Now remember, the age restrictions we have don't stop you from possessing guns. And so far as getting guns illegally, if I remember correctly, Columbine was straw purchases, right? They got somebody to buy the guns for them, so nothing's foolproof. Well, I'll throw that out to you, all right, with your thoughts. Let's take our first break. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. I want to tell you about Champagne Automotive Repair here in Boca. Champagne Automotive Repair, they will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need. And their prices are really, really great, really low. I've told this story. This is an amazing story. Steve's son put Champagne Automotive to the test. He took his car to one of those big-name chain places. You know the names. There's only a couple of them. They did a diagnostic on the car, looked it over, gave him a printout of all the repairs, all the maintenance that it needed. And then he took his car, this is Steve's son, up to Champagne Automotive in Boca. Didn't tell them what the first place said. They looked over the car bumper to bumper. And that first place told Steve's son that he needed $843.12 in repairs and maintenance that the car didn't need. They're scamming him. Champagne Automotive Repair will never do a repair on your vehicle that it doesn't need. That's amazing. They work on my family cars too. And their prices are very, very affordable. Also, since we're moving in, it's hot time of year, they have the most advanced diagnostic system for auto air conditioning that exists. So let them do a diagnostic on your air conditioner. Get that air conditioner blowing a few degrees cooler if it's not quite cold enough. Maybe it's not working at all. Maybe you have to drive your car down the street or down the corner or a couple miles from the house before it cools off. That's awful as we're getting into that hot Florida heat and humidity. This is the number, and we have listeners that drive hours each way to go to Champagne Automotive Repair because they are what you cannot find when it comes to automotive repair outside of Champagne Automotive Repair. That is honest. They'll never do a repair that your vehicle does not need. Here's their number, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101 for Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types
Oh, now, I want to tell all the members of the channel, I made public a video that I have never made public before. It's from a few years ago, right after the Parkland shooting. I was live streaming on Periscope, which no longer exists, and I was in front of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. I was wearing a Trump shirt, and in front of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, and I got confronted by a network news cameraman, and I kept the video because he was very threatening. And that's why I kept the video. I've never made it available to the public, unless you happen to catch it that day on Periscope. And I made it available exclusively to the YouTube channel members. So if you're a member, go check that out. If you want to see it, you know, you can become a member. But I'm not going to keep it available to the members beyond, you know, maybe 24 hours or so, okay? Because I'm not going to keep it available forever. So if you want to take a look, do it soon. But it really shows you what this media is about. The guy was nasty, and that when you watch that video, I was sitting down in the grass in front of the school. He was standing up next to me. It's unbelievable.
No matter where you're located throughout the state of Florida or nationwide, 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Hey guys, welcome back. 27 minutes after the hour. So yeah, we got another school shooting we're talking about. And, you know, of course they're going to blame the NRA. You know, when you look at the mass shootings compared to all of the murders done by guns in this country, how many of them are done when it comes to the gun murders, comes to the gun deaths? How many of the murders, and let's include mass shootings, are done by NRA members? How many? How many NRA members have committed a mass shooting? How many NRA members have been involved in gun crimes? What percentage of murders by guns are done by NRA members? You know, the NRA's, you know, Wayne LaPierre is a creep. You know, I'm not a fan of Wayne LaPierre and the NRA, what they do from that Wayne LaPierre living high off the hog situation. But the NRA is important, and it's not the and the Democrats in the media that are blaming the NRA for guns and owning guns. It's our founding fathers and the Constitution of the United States, which gives us a Second Amendment right to own and bear arms. And don't get into well-regulated militia, and you're not in a militia. The liberals don't know what they're talking about. You know, if you remember your Schoolhouse Rock, remember Schoolhouse Rock? Right? Get your powder, get your guns, report to General Washington. The original soldiers in the Continental Army had their own weapons, their own guns they brought from home. But to my knowledge, these mass shootings, they're not done by NRA members. And you know what? The NRA members are also opposed to it. Last time I checked, most deaths by handgun were suicides in this country. But when you look at murders done by guns, in most every instance, murders, I'm not talking about suicides, I'm talking about murders, most of them are not done by guns that are legally owned. Most of them are done by people that own guns illegally, like what goes on with the gangbangers in Chicago. Most every single one of them is under the age of 21. Many of them are under the age of 18. And they all have guns illegally. Okay? So it's not a problem caused by the NRA. All right, our number's toll free. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. Just take some calls, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of this. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is John in Wellington.
Hey, John.
Democrats never blame the person that commits the crime. They always want to blame the tool, and that's just wrong. I don't think it's going to help if you raise the buying age of a weapon to 25 or 65 or any age. What has to happen is, I think, when somebody is identified with mental instability, you've got to do everything in your power to keep them away from weapons and keep them away from society as a whole. Those kids in Colorado had a history of mental disorders, and the individual in Parkland also had a history of mental disorders.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
You will go very, very far if you take care of the situation at the root cause and stop blaming every single law-abiding citizen in this country that happens to own a weapon.
That's right. And, yeah, go ahead.
Just one more point. The left always wants to blame law-abiding citizens, and they always want to blame the NRA. The NRA should do some kind of research and find out how many mass shootings are committed and how many murders are committed by registered Democrats. Let's turn the tables on them.
Yeah. And to my recollection, I don't know of any NRA members that have done a mass shooting.
No, of course not. The answer to your question is zero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's not confuse liberals with the facts.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate the call. Yeah. Final word. Mm-hmm.
Word. To blame a law-abiding citizen for a mass shooting is like me blaming the manufacturer of the spoon company for making me fat.
Yeah, it's true. All right, thank you so much. Take care. I appreciate the call. John in Wellington. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. He's right on the money with that. Right on the money with that. There used to be a lot of talk, drunk driving used to be a big thing that was talked about all the time. It's not really discussed anymore. Texting and driving is worse than drunken driving, frankly. At least a drunk, in most instances, is looking at the road and trying not to hit anything. The texters, they're all over the highway, not looking at the road. People checking their email and everything else. Probably, texting and reading emails and iPhones and Androids are probably responsible for far more accidents and far more deaths than drunk driving and even guns. I mean, how many auto accidents are the result of people having phones in their car? It burns me. I see people all the time down the road swerving all over the place like a drunk, and then I'll get up next to them at the light. I try to, when I see someone swerving, if I can, I try to get a look inside the car to see what they're doing. And if I do get that opportunity, 99% of the time, they're in their phone while they're driving, not even looking at the road. I don't know if there's any accurate statistics available on how many auto accidents and deaths and injuries, and particular deaths from auto accidents, are because of people driving while they're in their phones. But I bet you it's high. And you know what? I bet you it's higher than maybe even gun deaths in this country. Is there any mainstream activism to make it impossible to use your phone while you're in your vehicle? I know there's laws against using your phones in cars and while driving. They have these laws all over the place, including here. Nobody abides by them, but I mean, is anyone talking about common sense cell phone control, which will deactivate a phone if it's inside a vehicle? No. No. Democrats like this issue, gun control, because it rallies many people in their base, but not enough. And let me tell you, when Joe Biden came out with his incoherent ramblings last night, which I'll talk about in a bit, Tucker Carlson went off on it, and he was spot on. Joe Biden, if he came out and blamed the NRA, if Joe Biden would have come out and said, I am calling on Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer tomorrow to introduce federal gun control legislation that I will sign into law that does A, B, and C, I'd say, well, at least they're walking the walk. But you know what? Even among Democrats, they control the Congress. They got the tie-breaking vote in the Senate. Not enough Democrats even agree with these gun control nuts on the left. They can't get it through even a Democrat-controlled Congress with a Democrat president. If gun control was that popular among Democrats, Biden, Pelosi, and Schumer would ban guns at the federal level today. Or they would have done it at any other time they had control after a mass incident like Sandy Hook. And they don't do it. Why? Because it's something that is not even popular among enough Democrats to get it done. It's not the NRA that are stopping the Democrats from passing gun control. It's not Republicans stopping the Democrats from having their mass gun control fantasy become a reality. The Democrat Party itself is not doing it. They're talking about it, but they have no intention on doing it. Because they know that they can't even get their own members in both houses, and which they control both. They got Kamala as the tiebreaker to pass it. And they never have, because it's not really, truly a popular thing. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break here 37 minutes after the hour. My name's Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. Back after this.
Brian Craig here with a huge announcement from the Thomas Edison of sleep, the inventor of the MyPillow, Mike Lindell. And MyPillow are now offering a BOGO extravaganza on multiple MyPillow items. Right now at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. Buy one, get free pricing on MyPillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance MyPillows, the 6-piece MyPillow towel set, and the MyPillow Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows, and so much more. Just go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener specials. Use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, or call toll-free 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879.
Steve Kane Show.
The BOGO extravaganza at MyPillow.com with the promo
Steve Kane
code
Show.
KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. And with each purchase for free, you will get a copy of Mike Lindell's autobiography. Call 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Or go to the radio listener special page at MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Attention seniors, have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Medicaid.
All the moderators are volunteers.
Family are properly protected from financial ruin.
But I think we have enough moderators right now.
Before you run out of life, learn how to avoid being forced to spend down.
Sometimes I watch
I
watch some live streams, and it seems like everybody in the chat is a moderator.
Nursing home and home care expenses, and much more. This free workshop with Attorney Barry Siegel is Thursday, May 26th at 2 p.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop. Call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just
One opening on the board. I'm going to go to the calls. I'm going to ask a question, see if anybody can, and I'll give the answer at some point, but I'm going to ask you a question. Democrats have long been advocates of gun control. Do you know what Democrat organization was the first organization to call for common sense gun control in this country? What was the first Democrat organization to advocate for common sense gun control legislation? I'll tell you in a bit if you can figure it out. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Louisiana.
Yes, Louisiana. What's on your mind?
Hey, I wasn't going to call your show this morning, but I called it anyway. I want to say this country needs to be healed. This country is such turmoil right now with the shooting yesterday. And you get on the radio with that craziness about the Democrats want to ban guns. The Democrats don't want to ban guns. We need to do something with some of these assault weapons they got out here, bro. Why would you need a gun? Why would you need a gun that shoot that many rounds? To do what with it? It's up there with that craziness this morning.
Well, how many rounds are okay in a gun to you?
I mean, okay, say like a police officer. How many rounds you get?
Well, you tell me. You've got all the opinions. How many rounds does a police officer have in their weapon typically?
I think you got 12 bullets in the clip.
12? You think?
I think that's what he has.
You think?
But
You're not you don't know. Okay, so you say how many rounds? How many rounds is okay by you?
I just said it.
12? 12?
Every person don't need a that could shoot.
Let me ask you. Okay. Somebody doesn't need. Okay. When the Nazis under Adolf Hitler took power in. Well, I'm talking about it. You get your own radio show. You can talk about whatever you want. Okay. I'm not going to not talk about something because you're afraid. When Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, prior to the war, first took power in Nazi Germany, what was their first action?
They got rid of the Jews.
No, that was not their first action. Their first action was to seize the guns that were owned by civilians. Well, I don't care what you're talking about in your living room. I'm talking about it. Why do you think Hitler... No, excuse me. Why do you think Hitler and the Germans and the Nazis took the civilian guns away from them when they first took power? Why do you think they did that?
It was easy for them to take over, but I'm not talking...
It was easier for them to take over. It was easier for them... Who cares what you're talking about? Their actions after that tell you why they took the guns away. I don't have to go through the list. Everyone knows what the Nazis did.
Take guns away, Brian. They're not. Y'all need to stop saying that.
What, the truth?
They're not. You come up here saying that craziness, but they're trying to take guns away. They're not trying to take guns away.
Yes, they are. Sure they are.
No, they're not. Where you get that from?
That's what they're talking about now. When they blame the NRA, what do they? When Biden when Biden blames the NRA, when are we going to stand up to the gun lobby, Biden said. You know, he didn't say it with as much energy as I just did, and he was a little incoherent and rambling, but what does that mean?
Fine last night. Biden was fine.
No. When he says, when are we going to stand up to the gun lobby, what does that mean?
Try to some of these assault weapons, not try to take weapons, everybody's weapons.
What are really assault weapons? What type of weapons were used in Texas yesterday?
Assault weapons.
What type of weapon? No. What kind of gun? A long gun. What type of gun?
You know that there's assault weapons.
No, I don't know what it. What? No, I do. No. What is an assault weapon? What is an assault weapon?
All them rounds that shoot all those rounds that within a second they can shoot up.
Within a second? No. You're talking about a machine gun.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. When a machine gun, when you, okay, hold on, when you pull the trigger on a machine gun once, it fires all the weapons, right? That's an assault weapon. Okay, that's what you call assault weapon. Is that what was used in Texas yesterday?
Yes, it was.
Well, maybe you should know what you're talking about before you render an opinion. That was not a machine gun. That was not a machine gun.
And they're not trying to ban all weapons.
Let me ask you another question. What stopped this shooter from killing more people?
Law enforcement.
But what did they use to stop him from killing more people?
A gun.
That's right. A gun stopped the gunman.
Banning all guns. See, there you go. You trying to say we're trying to ban all guns. We're not trying to ban all guns.
Just certain guns.
I believe everybody have a right to bear arms, but you shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm. But the gun you think he had, he did not have. Hey, listen, Louisiana, take care. Thanks for the call. All right, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
I don't want to change the topic, so I'm not.
No, don't.
I'm going to straight up with you. This idiot that just called before. You know how many rounds are too much? None. Because if you have 3 rounds in a bullet, 4 guys coming into your house, you want to have 5 rounds.
Yes.
If you have 20 guys coming in your house, you want to have 21 rounds.
Yeah.
That's the number of the bullets, okay? To stop people that are coming into your property, that are trying to put harm on you and your family or whatever. Now, as for the Democrats, it's all about politics with them from the very beginning. You got the guy out in Texas, the congressman, he's screaming right away, it's blaming it all on Republicans because these people are dismal in running a country. I'm going to say this, and I've tried to analyze everything. You're right about the campuses. Every time there's a mass shooting, we talk about the same thing. In schools, the campuses are spread out. I found out last night about this rat trap, you know, with the 2 doors, the 2-door system.
Yeah.
You go in one door and it locks you in. And
yeah, like at the bank.
Right, and you're locked in. So that way you lock the rat in and you got him on camera, you can see if he's got assault weapons or whatever. The second thing I'm going to say, I try to say, why is it when I was a kid, it wasn't just schoolhouses. What's the difference today of when I was a kid and you were a really young kid and today's schools? I got to tell you straight up. What do police do the first time an incident like this happens in a school? Where do they go first after they've cleared the scene? They go to the person's home and they go right to his computers. They go to their cell phones. You just have to look and see what happened in the flash mobs out in California.
Yeah.
They were robbing stores. They didn't even know each other. In other words, the communication. The cat is out of the bag right now. There's no way you're going to ever stop this. You got to get used to this because that's the way. Because people like these guys like Cruz and everything, they get on the internet and they go on TikTok and they go on every other thing. You just have to get on there. You got crazy people.
Well, you got what you got. You know, a lot of what's going on here with this kid is they want fame, and what's happened since Columbine is, you know, young people all want to be internet famous, And you become very famous, or have the possibility of becoming very famous, if you do one of these things. That is most definitely a factor. How did he not get banned from Facebook by putting up the guns, by the way?
Listen, these crazy people have all these followers before they even do the act. They get on there and they show the weapons that they're going to do the act with. They actually tell you on the internet what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, to me, the computer age and the cell phone age is the biggest problem we have in this country right now. And you're not going to bar computers or stuff.
Now, let me ask you this. I was waiting for a caller to bring this up, but no one's brought it up yet. And I'm not saying this is relevant or not, but the killer in Texas, who looks like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, also looks like he's transitioning, or was transitioning, doesn't he?
I tell you what, I don't think what you said, you'd have a lawsuit in your hands. If a normal kid that didn't look right, went in to buy a weapon, okay, at the age of 18, a rifle, and you try to stop them, they have lawyers on you to sue you, just like the king.
I don't know what the rules are to that. I don't know. Gun dealers are not permitted to do a straw purchase, and if they believe there's a straw purchase going on, they have a duty not to sell. If someone comes in to buy a gun that doesn't look right, as a retailer, you have the right to refuse service to anyone.
So, I mean, you really are.
Well, you're putting yourself at risk by being a gun dealer. Richie, I got to run for a break, but I'll give you the last word. All right, that was the last word. Richie, oh my goodness, Richie was speechless. History in the making. Let's savor that. Callers on hold, stand by. I'll throw the question out again. What was the first Democrat organization to call for common sense gun control legislation? See if anyone can figure that out. Back after this.
Listen to the Neil Rogers Show, afternoons on WWNN Talk Radio.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Dr. Matez here from the Biostation West Delray. Many of you are familiar with the famous erection injection, an extremely effective treatment for erectile dysfunction made popular right here on the Steve Kane Show. I'm here to tell you that the erection injection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the extensive array of treatment options now available at the Biostation West Delray. Our custom compounded products yield combinations and dosages that increase the efficacy of Viagra.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hey, Barry.
If you want to correct your erectile problems once and for all, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right. Any of you guys remember that lawyer commercial back in the 80s? There's always a light on in David Singer's office. He's still around. I've run into him before, and I always say that to him. But you know what? There's always a light on at the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel up early this morning. Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Well, tomorrow's the big day. Your workshops are tomorrow.
Yes. We're excited. We're pulling a doubleheader for the first time in quite some time. Excuse me. 10 a.m. Living Trust Workshop, 2 p.m. the Medicaid Workshop. And it's funny, we talk about people procrastinating when it comes to getting their estate planning done at all or updated. Well, I think people procrastinate when it comes to registering for Living Trust and Medicaid seminars as well. Because what we've been finding lately is even if we start promoting it weeks in advance, everybody signs up in the last week. So we're starting to get filled up, and there are still a few seats left. So if anybody is interested in attending and learning about how to protect themselves and their family through good estate planning, making sure that you have a process to make sure that it stays up to date, so you have a plan that works for you when you need it, making sure that you have a plan that if you or your spouse become ill and run out of money before you run out of, make sure you don't run out of money before you run out of life. You don't have enough long-term care insurance or any long-term care insurance, you better have a plan, because many people need care, and that cost of care is very expensive. And Medicaid could be your answer, and the biggest mistake you can make is to dismiss it and say, oh, we can't qualify. We have too much money, we have too much income, we can't qualify. Guess what? That could be one of the biggest financial mistakes you ever make.
Yeah.
You should come to our workshop and learn about it.
Yeah, that's right. And also there's not just getting the good information at the workshops, there's also an incentive, Barry. Do you want to tell people about a benefit those who attend receive for attending the workshops?
Well, yeah, those who attend our Living Trust workshop are going to receive a discount certificate off of any legal fees if they come in for their into the workshop and make an appointment there and come in for their appointment. That they get a discount certificate. In fact, there's two separate discounts that they could be eligible for to drastically reduce the cost of the estate planning. So if this is something you are planning to do anyway, something that you know you need to get around to doing it, or maybe you want to just get a little more information before you're sitting in the office with the attorney, this is a great opportunity to basically size us up, see if you like us, see if what we say makes sense to you.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Now, this is tomorrow, but call today, make your reservation. It's completely free, but they need to know how much space they need to have available, so give them a call. This is the number for the Siegel Law Group, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. Attorney Barry Siegel. All right, Barry, we will talk on Friday.
All right.
All right, take care. Have a great day. All right, there's only one opening on the board where Attorney Barry Siegel was at, so let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Tim.
Hey, Andrea.
I can't help but wonder, and the study I would like to see done is, what's the correlation between these these teenagers and 20-year-olds and these mass shootings, and what video games they play and how many hours they play? Because you have to really kind of be not only insane, but there has to be some type of desensitization that happens with them playing these games for hours and hours and hours, almost like the repetition of it. I think there has to be some type of correlation.
Well, one of the, you look at these guns typically are relatively small, low-caliber weapons that are made to look fancy with all these add-ons. And when I went to the gun shop recently looking at rifles, I'd not looked at rifles in years, and I didn't even recognize the different calibers and everything else and the different shotguns. I couldn't tell what was what because they all look so fancy now. And the reason that the look of guns has changed is 100% because of video games. The call, and it's not just video games. It's not like when I was a kid playing Space Invaders and Miss Pac-Man. They're playing these first-person shooter games, and they call them FPS games on Twitter and everything. FPS games. That's a big problem. It desensitizes them, and there's no doubt about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shot at the question.
Okay. Now the question is, the first Democrat organization that advocated for common sense gun control. Yes.
I'm going to say it's the KKK.
That's right.
To refuse blacks.
Yeah. Well, the Ku Klux Klan Yes, that's correct. The Ku Klux Klan was very upset that the newly freed slaves were able to own and possess guns. And that one of the first things, there were two things that the Democrat Klan, the first Democrat community activist organization was the Klan. There were two main things they advocated for, other than slavery, okay, bringing back slavery. One was no vote for blacks, and the second was guns. They didn't want them to have guns because they could fight back against they were outnumbered, the Klan. That's exactly right. The KKK, the first Democrat organization calling for common sense gun control legislation, and those gun-holding Republicans, the freed slaves, Republicans all, defended themselves against the Klan with their privately owned guns. That's right.
Well, I just took a shot.
No, that's an easy question. That's just an easy one. I mean, I'm surprised they even put it out there without giving the answer. That was so easy. All right, Andrea, take care. Thanks for the call. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Ryan. How are you doing, sir?
All right. Where are you calling from?
I'm from Washington.
State or city? Okay. What's on your mind?
So, my opinion is on this whole gun control and everything. I kind of understand where people are coming from having gun safety in schools, but my biggest thing is actually we don't really punish our children anymore. Like, for instance, if you spank your child in a store, you're going to have a Karen coming in and yelling at you or call CPS on you. I think that's one of the biggest issues that we have with these younger generation people.
I don't know. I don't know if it's spankings. I used to get spanked when I was a kid, and all it did was piss me off. Make me angry. Well, we don't have a whole background on this shooter, but the two most recent cases, in fact, the three that are talked about, right? The one yesterday, Parkland here in my community, and Sandy Hook. What do all three of those have in common? Parkland, Sandy Hook, and yesterday.
They were bullied?
Nah, I don't know. No father, right? No father. The guy yesterday shot grandma. Sandy Hook shot mom. And the Parkland shooter was like in foster care or something. No father. No traditional family. Liberals breaking up the family when they had no-fault divorce come in the 70s. That's got a big role to play. I'm a gun owner. I've been a gun owner my whole life. I had my first gun at 12, and my first gun was given to me at 12 by my dad and my grandfather. And they taught me about guns and respect for guns. There's no fathers around. How many of these mass shootings have been committed by guys that have even if you go to Chicago and the gangbangers, when you look at the murders by guns in this country, how many of them are done by people that have a traditional nuclear family?
That's the whole issue, is that there's no family, there's no discipline, there's no anarchy.
I don't know. You said one thing. You said CPS. I'm assuming that means Child Protective Services? I've never heard someone refer to that as CPS. Have you had some experience with them?
When I was actually in...
Yeah, thoughts. Okay. Because when somebody says CPS, that means they got some experience with them. I've never heard someone refer to Child Protective Services in such a familiar way.
My mom ran a daycare, so... Quite a bit.
Yeah. No, there's something to be said. There's no discipline. Yeah, I don't know about spanking. I don't think spanking. I never spanked my kid. But I think there's something to be said. The liberals broke up the families. There's no families. If you had a traditional family and you got a lunatic kid like the Parkland shooter or this Richard Ramirez lookalike in Texas yesterday, you'd have parents stepping in and doing something. Hey, listen, I got to run, but thanks for the call, Washington State. Good information. Callers on hold, stand by. 1 hour down, 2 to go. Back after this.
Listening to WWN in Pompano Beach, 1470 AM, 95.3 in Boca, 96.9 in Lauderhill, the talk of South Florida.
Hi, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. If you call or text me on my cell phone, I will analyze your home and your FPL bill over the phone, and I can quote you on insulation, Knox and Radiant Barrier.
Steve Kane Show.
And I'll show you how to save up to 30 to 40% on your
Hold on.
electric bill this month and for every month from here till eternity. 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Call now. Get up to 50% off and receive an additional $500 on over 2,000 square feet of radiant barrier, an additional $1,000 off on 4,000 square feet of radiant barrier. Call or text me now.
Yeah, that's true.
939-1500.
That's true.
That's 954-939-1500. Or you can find me on the web at...
Dentist of the Steve Kane Show. For good reason. He does great work at affordable prices. Listen to a Steve Kane listener share their experience with Dr. Gupta.
Hi, this is Tim, one of your loyal listeners, and I just want to thank you for turning me on to Dr. Gupta. I went over to him yesterday, and I had a great experience, and makes you feel very comfortable over there, and has a beautiful place, and I thank you guys very much. Have a great one.
Dr. Gupta, the official dentist of the Steve Kane Show. Make Dr. Gupta the official dentist of your family. Give him a call. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Online, BrightonDentalCare.com.
Attention seniors. Have you protected...
Welcome, everyone. We'll be back from the break in a minute. If you're new here, subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. When we get back, before I go back to the phones, I'm going to tell you why any talk of gun control is just absurd right now and just a joke. Which I'm surprised when I tell you, you'll agree with me. How can you disagree, right? I'm so spot on with everything today, as I always am. But when I tell you why it's a waste of breath to talk about gun control, you'll agree with me. And I'm surprised others don't pick up on it.
1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Here we go.
Here we go. Radio show, the longest-running radio show in Florida, on the air since 1977. This year celebrating 45 years on the air. Now, Steve Kane with Brian Craig.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the air since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold, stand by. Of course, we're talking about the terrible incident, these babies murdered in Texas yesterday, 19 now. This talk of gun control, I just want to tell you why it is a waste of breath, even confiscating all the guns. And I'm going to tell you why, and I don't think anyone in this audience will disagree. If the American people, everyone in this country agreed that was a gun owner, to turn in their guns, and we had 100% ban on guns, the streets would be filled with guns by the end of the week. Why is that? 3D printing technology. All the weapons can be made through 3D printing now. And I keep hearing people on the news talk, well, if you want to have a conversation about this, a conversation about that, they're all in the conversations now. It's like the new catchphrase among the pundits, a conversation. It used to be the notion or bad actors. Now it's a conversation. 3D printing makes any talk of gun control just ridiculous. It is impossible to have it. And I promise you the 3D printing technology not only would advance light years overnight, the gangbangers in Chicago would have 3D printers printing them up all day, and none of them would be traceable, by the way. So we're beyond the era of talking about gun control liberals. You need to come up with a new idea because that's impossible because of the 3D printing. Another thing I stated in the first hour, I want to state it again. When Joe Biden came out with his rambling, incoherent talk yesterday, when are we going to stand up to the gun lobby? The Democrats control the White House, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. I know it's tight. They got the tiebreaker with Kamala. Why did Joe Biden not call for immediate federal laws being passed today by Pelosi, by Schumer? They've already written all the laws. They've been talking about them my whole life. Why did he not call on Pelosi and Schumer today in the Democrat-controlled Congress, with Kamala as the tiebreaker in the Senate, to pass major federal restrictions on guns that he would sign into law? Why not? It's pretty simple. They don't even have enough Democrats that agree with them because it makes no sense what they're talking about. All right, let's go to the phones. 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Neil, Pompano Beach.
Hey, Neil, what's up?
Nobody talks about Biden's daughter, Ashley. She's in rehab. She must know a lot of crap.
Okay, all right, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, I went to school, and nothing like this ever happened. I don't get all of a sudden now. My kids go to school, and they murders here, murders there, murders everywhere. You know?
Well, that's not true. You know, people say this didn't happen long ago. When I was in high school in Fort Lauderdale, I went to high school in Fort Lauderdale at Stranahan High School from 85 to 89. Okay, we had two shootings that I can remember off the top of my head at school. There were two kids, different times, crack gangs. One of them shot himself. He had a pistol, and he was showing it off. It went off. He shot himself in the hand. And there was another incident. You know, it's been a long time, but I don't remember all the details. But you know, kids had guns back. Now they were crack dealers that I was in high school with, and gangbangers. But no, there were incidents. But you didn't have. You had a different type of media, like you know, back in the pre-Columbine. We'll go to pre-Columbine, right? Because Clinton was president during Columbine. You didn't back when you and I were kids, right? When you and I were kids, 70s, 80s, and all this stuff, and you know, you didn't have the 24-hour news cycle, you know. And if there was a major breaking news story, you wouldn't see film of it until it was a couple days old, unless it happened like in New York City, where the media was based. Do you understand what I mean? So no, you just didn't have the immediacy of seeing things because you didn't have a 24-hour news cycle.
Now, I also think that they allow people that they know are not mentally fit to still go around without being helped. They just let them go, and then what happens is they get something in their head, they see something on.
That's right. You know, listen, there's a couple things here. The Columbine is when this new era started of these terrible incidents. There is no doubt in my mind that the 24-hour news cycle and now social media together have some impact on this. Okay? Because they're famous and these are sickos, you know. But yesterday, I was watching The Five yesterday, and of course they're talking about mental illness and what role that has. And of course it has a big role. I didn't hear Geraldo talk about it, though, in the time I was listening, because of Geraldo Rivera, the mental institutions of this country were emptied out in the 70s, when he did his Willowbrook story, and mental patients have been allowed to wander the streets untreated and unincarcerated that should be incarcerated because of Geraldo Rivera. There's a lot of factors into it.
There's a lot of evil too now more than ever, man. Evil is spreading, and no matter what they do, there's plenty of schools that they have now like a prison. You can't get in, you can't get out. That's not, like you said, that's not going to stop them. They'll go on a bus, they'll go any place they want to go. They're not going to stop this. What they have to do is stop these mental idiots and figure out how to help them not be crazy. This is what we need, man. This is there's no way they're going to stop anything until they stop these crazy people.
Yeah. All right. Take care. And I'll tell you another thing. When this story came out, and I want to ask you this serious question: do you think that on Air Force One, which was flying back from Asia, and at the White House, they were not saying to themselves, "Oh, the baby formula story will be out of the news cycle now"? Do you think that there was any moment of like excitement from the White House Oh, the baby formula, the baby famine, that'll disappear now. What do you think? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Ben from Pompano.
Hey, Ben, what's up?
So I want to talk about one thing I don't think people are mentioning is every time there's a mass shooting, and the left loves to blame it on the identity group, right? Like white supremacy. This time, no one's talking about how this person was trans. There's pictures of this person in, cross-dressing. He posted photos of himself in drag.
Oh, I haven't seen the drag photos. I saw the picture everyone's seen, and he looks like he's transitioning.
Right, and are we going to talk about, just by their logic, if we're going to do it off the identity, are we going to say, well, the trans, the mental health issues running the trans community are now a threat, a national security threat? I'm not saying that's the case, but if we were going to apply the same logic they apply to all the other, or not even all the other shooters, some of the shooters, I mean, they're so inconsistent. They're just...
Well, I wonder, okay, that's interesting. I wonder if he was being, treated by a doctor with medications.
A good question. I mean, I just know seeing Citizen Free Press showed it. It was a picture of his posts on TikTok, and then there was a picture of him in drag. He was very clearly doing a trans thing, and But
okay. Let's say he's transitioning. Okay, what's the relevance of that to the incident?
Well, what's the relevance of someone being white to an incident?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you. You brought it up. If he's okay.
I think across the spectrum, it's all mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whether they're black or whether they're trans. But if we're just going to play their game, we would say, oh, look at this identity group, domestic terrorists. Where they're a threat to our citizens. So, but.
Well, one thing, the Democrats never blame individuals for anything, and there are people to blame. My recollection with Sandy Hook is the shooter in Sandy Hook was mentally ill, and his mother bought guns for him and had guns around the house that weren't locked up, and even took him shooting. There's parental responsibility there. The Parkland shooter was so severely mentally ill, it was obvious to me with a 30-second encounter with the guy at the Wawa, and people were selling him guns, the people around him, and we find out that this whole school system was covering up this kid for years. The system allowed the Parkland shooting to happen because they didn't want any crime on the boat. The whole story. So there's a lot of factors that are not factored into this discussion because we're in an election year. The Democrats are losing. They have no issues. They're a complete failure, and they think they got something now. And they think they have something now.
Well, I don't know. I know it's gonna. I'm not. Especially. I know this might sound totally out there, but after the Whitmer case,
we don't need to get into that. All right, listen, we're going to take the first break of the second hour. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
Brian Craig here. You've heard us talk about the great low prices Friendly Tire has on new tires and used tires. They also do tire repairs. Listen to one of our listeners talk about their experience at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hey, Brian. My name is Mike. Just wanted to call and say thank you. I had a problem with my car. I had a flat tire. It was going down really quick. I'm in Coral Springs. I had to go somewhere close by. They couldn't really fix it. So I remember you guys are talking about Friendly Mike at Friendly Tires. So I said, listen, Mike, I need a couple of tires. I told him my son. He goes, I got them. I go, I'll see you tomorrow. They were really cheap. I go over there, and Mike said, which tires do you want to replace? They look relatively new. I said, they are. I just got a big hole in that one. And they said they couldn't be fixed. He goes, pull your vehicle in. I pulled the vehicle in. He took the tire off. He pulled out the plug that the guy in Coral Springs put in there, and he heat shielded it. He kind of patched it or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. And he goes, you don't need any tires. He goes, I fixed that one. Give me $20. But the guy in Coral Springs wanted $500 for 2 tires. I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Give Mike Mike at Friendly Tire a call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Don't waste time going anywhere else. You will never find prices as low as Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hi, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. If you call or text me on my cell phone, I will analyze your home and your FPL bill over the phone, and I can quote you on insulation, ducts, and radiant barrier. Call me now, and I'll show you how to save up to 30 to 40% on your electric bill this month and for every month from here till eternity. 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Call now, get up to 50% off, and receive an additional $500 on over 2,000 square feet of radiant barrier, an additional $1,000 off on 4,000 square feet of radiant barrier. Call or text me now, 954-939-1500. That's 954-939-1500. Or you can find me on the web at cutmykilowatts.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, and Father's Day right around the corner at MyPillow.com using the promo code Kane at checkout. Just amazing deals and amazing gift ideas that every MAGA dad will love. Now, the BOGO extravaganza continues. Over a dozen of the top and most popular MyPillow items, including the towels and the sheets and the pillows, and many others, are buy one, get one free with the promo code Kane. But there's three other things I'm going to add into this that make great Father's Day gifts, okay? The MyPillow bathrobe, which comes in many different styles and colors. There's also a heavy robe, a lighter robe. There's not a MAGA dad in America who would not love a MyPillow bathrobe for Father's Day. 30% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. The MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper. Now, I've had the 3-inch mattress topper for MyPillow for over a year. It will change your life. My wife's back pain disappeared after one night. It's like sleeping on a cloud. Just, it changed my life. I sleep the whole night through on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. It'll change your life. It really will. It makes a great gift for Father's Day. Right now, the MyPillow mattress topper is 30% off with the promo code Kane, and you get a free set of sheets to go with it. 30% off the 3-inch. This is the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell makes. 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get a free set of sheets with the promo code Kane at checkout. And of course, the big one, the MyPillow My Slippers. This one is just an amazing, amazing special that is for Father's Day, although it applies to both the slippers from MyPillow for men and women. The regular price, $139.98. With our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, the MyPillow My Slippers, all sizes, all styles, both men and women, just $49.98. $90 off, okay? And this special will be over without notice. As soon as they start to run out of inventory and styles and colors and sizes and everything else, $90 off the MyPillow My Slippers with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. All right, now Tucker Carlson last night, I think he was spot on in his analysis of Biden after his address to the nation, which was, I mean, it's not just that Joe Biden is suffering from severe cognitive decline, some type of dementia like Alzheimer's or something. He's also dealing with tremendous amounts of grief over the loss of his son, Bo. I don't like Joe Biden, but, I got sympathy for the guy. He lost his son. And you can see it. I mean, he just is, it's hit him, man. I mean, he's devastated by it. And when you saw him last night, between the cognitive decline and the severe grief that he is in, he's unfit to lead anything. He can't lead a bridge game. He's unfit to lead. Now, I know Kamala's not fit either, but Biden is unfit to lead. So let me play. This is Tucker. It's the end of Biden's address to the nation last night. Then you'll hear Tucker with some spot-on analysis.
Our prayer tonight was those parents lying in bed and trying to figure out Will I be able to sleep again? What do I say to my other children? What happens tomorrow? May God bless the loss of innocent life on this sad day. And may the Lord be near the brokenhearted and save those crushed in spirit, because they're going to need a lot of help, a lot of our prayers. God love you.
I mean, he can't even speak. I mean, he is just, between the dementia and the grief, I mean, he just can't, he's unfit. And it's frightening, really, quite frightening, especially when we got this war situation going on in Europe. So then Tucker comes in, I think, with some great analysis.
Will you go to Texas, sir? President of the United States, frail, confused, bitterly partisan, desecrating the memory of recently murdered children with tired talking points from the Democratic Party, dividing the country in a moment of deep pain rather than uniting. His voice rising, amplified only as he repeats the talking points he repeated for over 35 years in the United States Senate. Partisan politics being the only thing that animates him. Unfit for leadership of this country. Will Kane is a man we trust. He often fills in on this show. He's also the host of Fox and Friends Weekend. Will Kane, what a moment this would have been if he had stopped a sentence in and said, we're going to pray for these families, and let's let this marinate for a minute. Let's stand respectfully before a tragedy. And Joe Biden has lived tragedy, so he could say that with some credibility. He moved immediately into some DNC rant off a cue card. That's the president?
What a moment this almost was.
Yes.
Was there a moment at the beginning of the speech, it sounded like he might bring this country together, talking about the loss inside someone when they lose a child, the hole that never will be filled, quoting scripture, which is so important in this moment, Tucker, because what we're suffering from culturally is a rot of spirituality, a loss of meaning. And you're exactly right. He turns and gets animated when it's time to cast blame, when it's time to point fingers, when it's time to be partisan. You know, he can't point to a single law that would have stopped the shooter because he doesn't.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing too. You know, all of the mass shootings that are ever, Joe Biden's been there for all of them, right? He's been there for all of them because he was in Washington for so long. He's been in Washington since Nixon was president, right? And he was in a senior position for most of that time. What is one thing that he ever did after all these shootings, and he always spoke after them? There hasn't been one mass shooting that he hasn't commented on because he's been there for all of them. After he's done with the political rhetoric, what did Biden ever do that would stop anything from happening? Can you think of any? And I'll tell you, when I saw him, I was surprised he came out last night because he just got off the plane and I figured he'd be exhausted after that flight and everything, and sure enough he was. But when Tucker Carlson says, frail, confused, no doubt about it. We don't need frail and confused. You can be frail and have your mind together, I guess, but this confusion, this is dangerous. We are in a very, every time this guy just went on an Asian tour. Do our Asian leaders really need to see him up close, what he's like? This is his animated part.
Nation, we have to ask, when in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby? When in God's name we do what we all know in our gut needs to be done?
Okay, what does that mean? What needs to be done? When they say, you're going to hear a lot of this, do what needs to be done. What do they think needs to be done? When he says stand up to the gun lobby, that's the NRA. There's other gun groups too. Gun Owners of America has more members than the NRA, I'm told. I don't belong to the NRA or any of these organizations. Wayne LaPierre doesn't need my money to go on vacations and buy expensive clothes and fly in private jets. They do. I mean, the NRA, as bad as Wayne LaPierre is, the NRA does help keep us free. They are a lobby. That's absolutely right. But what does the NRA lobby for that causes these things? I'd like them to. And when they say do what needs to be done. What do they think needs to be done? All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1. 888-465-2631. Now, am I the only one when this shooting happened and we saw where it was, thought, well, I wonder if it's an illegal. Wonder if the shooter was an illegal. And man, after Greg Abbott said that he was a U.S. citizen, I was watching, I was flipping through every channel. So I watched MSNBC and CNN yesterday too during this because there's breaking news and, you know, and I'm trying to get as much information as I can online and on television, and I was going through everything. When it came out that he was a U.S. citizen, I could sense on MSNBC and CNN like a relief. They were terrified that it was going to be an undocumented illegal alien that did the shooting. You could just sense it. You see this all the time. Like I remember with the Boston bombing, when before they got the suspects and they were identified, they had that picture of them on the sidewalk and they were white. I remember they had a press conference. The media was so excited that they were white. They didn't know they were white Muslims, but before they knew they were Muslim and just thought they were white, they were like almost high-fiving each other on television. Everything's partisan with these people. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Sherry from Texas.
Hey, Texas, what's up?
Watching it, I was terrified, just waiting for him to get off that plane and get up to that podium and speak. And I was praying that this was not going to be used as a political pawn. Those 19 innocent little lives that were taken to use as leverage on this gun topic. The incident that happened down there is just, you can't even fathom, you can't even make any sense of it. To walk into a school. I mean, here we are sending, $40 billion to Ukraine. Why not harden the schools here? Why was that 18-year-old able to enter that school and just randomly open fire and take so many lives? And there wasn't one ounce of security in that school.
Nope.
It was like open hunting season. I mean, and then to use that as a political pawn, you know?
Well, you know, there's some information that I have not gotten clear answers to, and maybe you all have. I got it really early this morning to try to get answers to a couple of things, okay? This Richard Ramirez lookalike in Texas, he wrecked his pickup truck in a ditch, right? Police were at the school in 3 minutes. Was he being pursued? Was he being pursued by the police? Was he in a high speed? How did he end up wrecking his car? Was he running from the police? Was there a pursuit? And I find that interesting. Yes, that part's been left out. I don't know, but I'm wondering. This is one thing I'm wondering. Was the school definitely a target? In the morning when he shot Grandma, was the school on his mind at that point, or was he driven there through a pursuit by law enforcement? I don't know. There's a lot of questions here. I'd like to know.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of it that way.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but that accident. If you've seen the video of he had a big old pickup truck in a ditch. You know, you typically, if you're driving that erratically to end up in a ditch, you're at a high speed running from it's a question. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened.
He shot his grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after shooting his grandmother, that makes a lot of sense. That fills a void right there, what you just said. Because why else would his truck, the axle was snapped. And he was in a concrete ravine.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was almost like after he wrecked it, he took off on foot. And his only escape was to enter that school. And his thought was probably, well, if they're going to kick me out, I'm going to...
See, what we found out after the fact, the Parkland shooting in our own community here, you know, at our old studio that we used to broadcast from, I used to drive by that school every day. the police officer is responsible for that massacre. He got a radio call from a maintenance person on the walkie-talkie who identified the shooter, Nicholas Cruz, said Nicholas Cruz is walking towards Building 12 purposefully with a bag in his hand. That's before he got to the building and shot anyone. And the sheriff's deputy at the school went and hid and called in fake radio calls. He may have prevented all the shooting, all the deaths, or at least most of them. And so in a way, so all this talk about Parkland, that happened in large part because if the officer would have gone straight to the building, he would have confronted him when he first got into the building before he went upstairs where he did most of his mayhem. So there's the police incompetence on site played a major role in the number of people who were murdered at Marjory Stoneman Douglas. And I'm wondering, I'm not saying this is the case in Texas yesterday, but it looked like there was a high-speed chase going on after he shot Grandma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a real good point. I didn't even think about that. I was watching the whole thing on TV. But to bring us up on this gun, in Texas, so you can buy a rifle at the age of 18, and you can't buy a handgun, unless you're 21 years of age. Well, what the hell does that have to do with anything? That doesn't have anything to do with anything, and it's not the gun that you fire a gun and shoot somebody, a bullet's gonna kill you, but at the end of the day, it's the operator behind the gun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Behind the gun. So let's, you can make the topic of firearms a topic all day long, but at the end of the day, it was the operator behind the gun.
Yeah. Well, Democrats don't like to blame these individuals. They want to blame other things. Yeah. All right.
Week, and it's been good listening to you on the air this morning. I've been off for a couple of days.
Oh, okay, well, welcome back. Good call from Texas. All right, take care. Call from Texas. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jim in Cincinnati. Good morning.
Jim in Cincinnati, Ohio. What's up, Jim?
Yes, sir. Great show today. Unfortunately, topic does need to be covered. I've been sitting here listening to back and forth on the, with the liberal caller, Wheezy 2 or whoever that is. And,
Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And, nobody really has mentioned throughout Columbine, throughout Parkland, throughout any of it, that I've heard, one of the worst tragedies in school, in a school, was in, I believe, Russia, and it was done more with bombs. So the point is, even a place with huge gun control, there's going to be targets, and people are going to use whatever they can. Now, in furthering that point, where do you not hear of these things? You don't hear about it in a military base often, but I think once.
Well, Fort Hood.
Or a prison. And I think the difference is the perimeters are either walled, fenced, or secured to where there's one egress point.
Well, I give you a better example. Okay, if you go to an arena, for basketball game, a concert. It's one big building, and there's controlled exits and entrances because you have to be ticketed. And there's security there, too, if you go through to these events. You don't see these events happening in sports arenas. And it's because they're huge buildings with many, many doors, but it's controlled. And I was talking at the top of the show, when you're from Cincinnati, when I was a kid in Columbus, the school was one big schoolhouse, as opposed to being spread out with these huge campuses that you can't protect. And if the schools were one big building, you could have protection that would stop people from getting in like this. That's why they don't do this at sporting events.
It would still be accessible, and you could see just by they had a film of this guy walking up to a school. That's going to be less likely if he has to scale 12 foot of a chain link or what have you. They've got that much more time in between dudes showing up. I did hear, though, in response to what you were asking earlier, I heard that there was some kind of pursuit. Whether or not it was heated or not, I don't know. But I heard that there was witnesses to him getting out of the truck. There's been two sides of the story where one side said they saw him in full body armor exiting the truck and walking basically to the school. Other people said they saw him running to the school. So I don't think we're going to get to know.
Vegas, that was not an arena, Vegas.
Between the grandmother.
That was outside events.
That being
Vegas.
Him being looked at over that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Interaction, and that's why I believe the police were there early.
Well, I'm curious about this, and I watched so much news, and no one's asking these questions. And I was talking to the last caller. The police officer at the Parkland school allowed this to happen. I mean, that happened because of police incompetence on the spot, And I'm not saying the police were incompetent in Texas yesterday, but a lot of police departments have policies: no pursuit. They don't do high-speed pursuits. A lot of departments have that policy, and what I want to know is, when this event happened and he shot his grandmother, did he plan that day on going to the school? Was he doing a copycat of Sandy Hook, where he shot his mother in that instance before the school, or not?
Whether or not it was a copycat, you can't really tell until you read his printed manifesto, whatever it is. But what he did do was send out social media alert to somebody. I'm not sure if it was a girlfriend or a friend or whatever, that basically alluded to, it's on, I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not going to stop crazy people with laws. You're going to stop crazy people by stopping crazy people no matter what. It didn't help Oklahoma City. It didn't help Boston. No gun law would have stopped either one of them.
I mean, my goodness, remember Boston with pressure cookers.
Family Dollar and get what was necessary basically to cause that kind of chaos. And believe me, nutty people aren't always stupid.
I mean, and look at the Oklahoma City incident too. Nails and things, Yeah.
Militarily trained.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck with the show today. I'm listening all the way through. I'm sorry we have to be on this topic.
No, it's a terrible topic. Yeah.
Hey, call from your birth state. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Take care. All right. Listen, it's a little late, 41 minutes after the hour for the break, but we'll take it now. We'll be right back. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve will be joining us in the next hour. I'm Brian Craig. Back right after this.
From neuropathy, maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. Online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental is the official dentist of the Steve Kane Show. For good reason. He does great work at affordable prices. Listen to a Steve Kane listener share their experience with Dr. Gupta.
Hi, this is Tim, one of your loyal listeners, and I just want to thank you for turning me on to Dr. Gupta. I went over to him yesterday, and I had a great experience, and makes you feel very comfortable over there, and has a beautiful place, and I thank you guys very much. Have a great one.
Dr. Gupta, the official dentist of the Steve Kane Show. Make Dr. Gupta the official dentist of your family. Give him a call. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. Online, BrightonDentalCare.com. Brian Craig here. Advertising on the Steve Kane Show works. This is Scott, one of our sponsors from Cut My Kilowatts, talking about his experience advertising on the Steve Kane Radio Show.
Hey, Scott, how are you?
I am doing great, and Brian, I gotta tell you, I am on 3 radio stations, and you guys are doing better than any of the other 2.
That's amazing.
Getting me new clients. It's amazing. It's been amazing. we did a lady from your show yesterday. She wants to come in there, come recording with us, to tell everybody about it. Yeah, so we did her home yesterday, and then a gentleman, Darcy, just called in today and booked an appointment for next Friday. So it's been going wonderful. You've just gone above and beyond my wildest expectations. So much for all the great help that's getting me the...
Well, that's what we like to hear. Did you hear that, guys? He's advertising on 3 radio stations, and we're doing better for him than the other ones. That's right. That's the Steve Kane Show right here. That makes me feel good. Oh, man. Increase your company's business. Advertise on Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call me directly or Steve Kane, 888-465-2631. Leave a message, and I'll get back to you. 888-465-2631. And we'll be hearing about you and your business on The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
Oh, man. We're hopelessly behind on breaks. My apologies to the listening audience. This will be a short segment. Now, during the break, I just looked up the history of mass shootings in the United States, and this came up on Wikipedia. And this is Wikipedia, which is left-wing. But it goes back to 1920, so 102 years. And I just looked at the first couple. Okay, here's the first one. Listen to this. November 2nd, 1920, the Okie, Florida, Okie Massacre. 34 to 37 killed in this mass shooting. The Okie Massacre, November 2nd, 1920, white mob attack on African-American residents on the day of the 1920 presidential election. Started because a black man wanted to vote. All black-owned property was seized. So that was Democrat on Republican attack, right? White Democrats attacking African-American Republicans so they wouldn't vote Republican. So that was an attack done by Democrats. Here's the next one. This is on Wikipedia. Okay? Seven months later, May 31st through June 1st, 1921, the Tulsa Race Massacre, Tulsa, Oklahoma. White mobs attacked the black residents and businesses of the Greenwood District in Tulsa. The attack was carried out using guns, fire, and private aircraft. The attack was carried out on the ground and from private aircraft, destroyed more than 35 square blocks of the district. This is the famous Black Wall Street you hear about. They estimate 300 to 800 killed. That was another one done by Democrats, white Democrats. June 21st, 1922, here in Illinois, during a United Mine Workers of America nationwide strike, union members shot at strikebreakers working at the mine. So union men fired shots at the scabs. 3 union members killed. 20 strikebreakers killed and guards. 23 total dead. That's another one. Democrats killing people. First 3 massacres are Democrats doing it. Here's the next one. January 1923, Levy County here in Florida again. The Rosewood Massacre. They made movies about this one. The massacre was a racially motivated massacre, resulted in the destruction of the town of Rosewood after a white woman claimed she was beaten and raped by a black man. The town was overrun by a white mob who hunted the black inhabitants of Rosewood, who had fled the area and hid in surrounding swamps. 6 black and 2 whites were killed. That's another one. Democrats and the blacks in Rosewood were Republicans. So the first 4 mass shootings were done by Democrats. I mean, it goes on. That's just in the 20s. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them. I mean, I could read till noon. There's so many. I didn't realize how many mass shootings there were. I mean, in the 60s, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 listed in the 60s, 4 in the 50s, in the 70s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 or 20 in the 70s. I lost count there. So these have been going on, throughout our entire history. This is not a new phenomenon, as they would like you to believe. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Coral Springs.
Hey, Coral Springs. What's up?
Hey, listen, it's so sad that, mass shooting after mass shooting after mass shooting, you get people, pompous people like this idiot in Wellington, John, calls up with his arrogance, trying to separate the country and make this a Democrat, liberal, conservative thing. You stuck in the 1940s, like I told you last week, trying to make the Democrats look bad. None of this helps our children. None of this helps society. Do you really think trying to, just with your identity politics, is that your excuse for the stupidity of America as a whole? The Prime Minister, quite ironically, the Prime Minister from New Zealand was on Colbert last night. She had that mass shooting in Christchurch. And the people of New Zealand were pragmatic enough to say, you know what, forget this. We're banning all assault-style weapons.
Mm.
They did it. It still didn't solve the problems. Not all of them. They still have work to do. But they had enough common sense as a people to do something.
Mm.
Not sit around and criticize and make up silly stories about Democrats and Republicans and liberals.
Okay, well, listen. I'm glad. I am glad you called, because you obviously have the solution. So, what is your solution to the problem?
See, this is the problem. There is no solution. You have to be panic about it. Okay? No one, and Louisiana was right. Unfortunately, she just can't articulate herself that well, and you take advantage of it. But you start with the banning of these ridiculous weapons.
Well, okay, what do you want to ban? What do you want to ban?
All the assault-style semi-automatic shotguns.
Yeah. At Columbine, at Columbine, I'm talking. At Columbine, Klebold and Harris had handguns.
Hi, honey. You want coffee?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my, this whole fake thing that you got a girlfriend. You're so pathetic. Let me tell you something, Al. You are a sick man. There are babies that are dead. I saw a grandfather looking for his 10-year-old granddaughter, and you want people to think you're not gay, and you're a creep. You are a creeper. You're a sick man with this fake thing, honey. You want coffee with dead babies in Texas. We'll be back.
Tom Laporta here
what a
from
sicko.
Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and
What a
Building
nut.
Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's
Steve
time
Kane
to
Show.
get your building envelope ready for the next season.
Steve Kane Show.
Contracting installs all types
Hold on.
of roofs, from asphalt, clay,
What a nut.
standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties.
That is a real.
Today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to
That is a real sicko.
team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a Medicare advocate at the touch of a button? You can.
Oh, now everybody that's a member of the channel, I made available to members a video I've never made public before. It's when I got confronted by the network news cameraman at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas after the Parkland shooting. Right after the Parkland shooting, I went over to the school, and I was, like I always am most days, wearing a Trump t-shirt, and this network cameraman got triggered and confronted me in front of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And if you're a member of the channel, you can watch that video. So go take a look at it. I'm not going to leave it up there forever, just maybe 24 hours. So if you get a chance, check it out. Yeah, it's available just to members. I've never made that public. I was live streaming on Periscope. So other than the people watching live on Periscope, I've never shown that. And Periscope's not around anymore. It was gone years ago. It really shows you what the media are all about. I mean, it was something else. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Tony from Kentucky.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
I live in Kentucky. It's pretty lenient with gun control laws, but why are people not have the most strict gun laws in the United States or Democrat-run cities, Chicago, New York, and all that does is make it where people are getting it illegally. The gun control laws are going to work.
Well, the reason gun crimes are high in gun control cities is pretty simple. Why is that? Why is Chicago and New York have these strict gun control laws? Why do you, I know the answer, see if you know. Why is gun violence so high in the gun control zones with the strictest gun control laws?
It's all going down illegally. They're getting illegal guns.
No, that's happening. The reason, by the way, thanks for the call. The reason that there is a very high rate of murder and shootings that don't resolve in murder and other gun crimes in places that are run by Democrats that have the strictest gun control laws on the books is because the average citizen is not armed, and the criminals know it. In Florida, we've had a couple of incidents, right? Parkland and the Pulse nightclub. Those two incidents happen in gun-free zones, a school and a bar, okay? But you don't have regular instances happening around in Miami or just regularly in the city in Orlando, because in Florida, people are armed. Even in Texas, this happened at one of the few gun-free zones in Texas, right? A school. So that's why, when, gun-free zones are targets, right? That's what it is, because these shooters are cowards. And they want to go places where no one can shoot back. And if you have an entire city that's a gun-free zone, the criminals know 99.99% chance that the person they go to rob or commit a gun crime with against can't fight back with a gun. That's why. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. Steve will be joining us in the next hour. The Georgia governor's primary for the Republicans, obviously Kemp won. I'm going to ask you guys this, and I have not seen analysis on this, but if I'm not mistaken, isn't Georgia a crossover primary state? And if you don't know what that means, like here in Florida, I'm a registered Republican. On primary day, I have to vote in the Republican race. I can't cross over and vote in the Democrat state. In crossover states, you can vote either way. Is Georgia a crossover state? I don't know. Is it? It seems in my mind it is a crossover state. Or is it a state where independents can vote in either primary? How does it work in Georgia? And if that's true, did that play a factor? It's an open primary? I'm not sure how that works. I don't know. If it's not a crossover state, I'm very disappointed in Georgian Republicans. I really am. I really am. And I'm not the only one. President Trump's disappointed in you, too. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Sanders from Indiana.
Yes, Indiana.
You remember after 9/11 and everything, the day that it happened, they locked down all the schools and the parents couldn't go pick the children up?
Mm-hmm.
Because my daughter was, like, I think in first grade.
Yeah.
After that happened, they kept all the entrances to the schools locked. And you had to use a buzzer to get buzzed into the school. How come the school did not have the doors locked where nobody could enter the school? It was not supposed to be entering the school.
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, and I was thinking, and I don't recall a mass shooting ever at a private school. And I'm trying to think. I can't think of a private school that's had a mass shooting. And I'm wondering if they have some security going on at the private schools that might prevent something from happening like that.
I'm sure they probably do. I'm sure they probably do.
Hey, listen, I'm up against a break, Indy, and I apologize for being short with you, but I got to run for the top of the hour. Callers on hold, stand by. It's 8 a.m. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
To WWN in Pompano Beach, 1470 AM, 95.3 in Boca, 96.9 in Lauderhill, the talk of South Florida.
Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642. Online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Stacy from Deerfield Beach. This is in reference to Champagne Automotive. I went over there. They're wonderful. I have a Kia Optima Eco Hybrid. When I called, it needed service. I didn't want to bring it to the dealership because they would charge me through the roof. And basically, when I did call, they said bring it in the next day. He's amazing. He did everything. He didn't overcharge me. He went through my car, and I would recommend anybody to go to him. He's absolutely amazing.
Well, you know, Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, they do great work, and I want to thank you for calling. And I learned something about Champagne Automotive Repair from you in this call. I did not know that they actually did repairs on hybrid vehicles.
What had happened was when I brought it to the dealership, they were like, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. And when I heard about Champagne Automotive, I called. When I got there, and I said, he goes, well, I already ordered the oil filter.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. And so I dropped it off. I don't have many people to take me back home. And so he ordered Uber for me.
Wow.
Yes.
That's service. Thank you for the call as well. And anyone else out there, you know, Champagne Automotive Repair, their prices are great. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. Their number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And what's your name, caller?
My name is Stacy, and thank you very much, Champagne Automotive. And thank you very much, Brian and Steve.
For Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Attention seniors.
Have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust Workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. This free Living Trust Workshop with Attorney Barry Siegel is Thursday, May 26th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop and call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, the longest-running radio show in Florida, on the air since 1977. This year celebrating 45 years on the air. Now, Steve Kane with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. Third hour has begun. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1. 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Josh. How you doing, Brian? I'm calling from Coral Springs.
Yep.
It's a beautiful day in South Florida.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
See it from Coral Springs. He gives everybody that lives in Coral Springs and all of South Florida a bad name. Okay? How do you call and bring up the Prime Minister in New Zealand? Talk about gun reform and taking all the assault-style rifles when he couldn't even describe what an assault-style weapon was. Doesn't know his facts, and then when you ask him for a solution to the problem, he doesn't even have an answer.
Yeah, and he does this fake thing so people don't think he's gay.
On a coffee love? What the hell type of bullcrap is that?
He's afraid people think he's gay.
The solution to the problem is put more guns in these gun-free zones. Everybody in Florida carries. It's our constitutional right.
Mm-hmm.
That are attacking these places. The Parkland shooting happened because no one in Parkland was armed.
Well, no, there was someone armed. The police officer went and hid and called in fake radio calls. Whoa. All right, callers on hold, stand by. Mother effer is not permitted on the radio. Oh, my goodness. Coral Springs borders Parkland, so there is crossover between, if you live in Coral Springs, it's like, you feel like you're in Parkland. Oh man, his word choice, although inappropriate for the radio, was definitely accurate. He was talking about the police officer that hid and called in fake radio calls at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Oh my goodness. Callers on hold, stand by. I must wait for the delay to build back up before we take more calls. Our number, 888-GO-KANE 1. We've been pretty hot on the dump button this morning and this week. I've used the dump button with callers this week more than in the last month or two. I don't know what's going on with this audience. 1-888-465-2631. All right, delay is up. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, my name is Renee Khan. I'm calling from Harlem, New York.
All right, Harlem.
Yeah, I'm in Harlem, New York. I'm responding to your statement before that the racists in the Democratic Party were there working against black people, and we all know that in 1965, all those Dixiecrats jumped over to become Republicans.
Oh, we know that, huh? Oh, tell me about that. Tell me about that.
People, okay, Richard Nixon.
No, he was not Richard Nixon was not a Dixiecrat. Lifelong Republican.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, he always was. Okay, the Dixiecrats, let me just tell you a little bit. By the way, you're in Harlem. Do you know Spike Lee's dad? He lives in Harlem. The Dixiecrats, No, I'm not going to tell you about Harlem. I'm not going to tell you about Harlem. I don't care about Harlem. I don't care about Harlem. What does that mean? What do you mean, don't try? Oh, my goodness. My goodness. The Dixiecrats, okay, now your premise is this thing of the big switch, that in 1965, you say, all the racist Democrats became Republicans and all the good people became Democrats, right? So, like, that's when this switch happened, right? Is that what you're telling me?
Words in my mouth. Okay? The Dixiecrats were always racist. They became Republicans by their own choice.
Okay. The Dixiecrats, okay, there were a number of Dixiecrats, 20-some odd Dixiecrats. I can't remember the exact number. There were over 20 Dixiecrats. Dixiecrats were Democrats who were opposed to any civil rights legislation. Okay? Every Dixiecrat, including Al Gore's father, Al Gore Sr., who was a Dixiecrat, every Dixiecrat except one went back to the Democrat Party. In fact, the only Dixiecrat that became a Republican was Strom Thurmond. Every other Dixiecrat went back to the Democrat Party.
Yes, that guy, what's the guy that Hillary Clinton was inspired by? Goldwater. He was, what was he?
Listen, this is not a history course, okay? This is 2022, and I know in Harlem you're living in the past, but what I'm telling you is that your premise of the Dixiecrats is a lie. That's not true. There were every Dixiecrat, excuse me, every Dixiecrat but one. See, he doesn't want to hear it. Hey, every Dixiecrat except one went back to the Democrat Party.
Hearing what I'm saying.
No, I have corrected your inaccurate statement, and you want to divert and talk about other things.
You're repeating yourself, and you're repeating the same inadequate, wrong statement.
Yeah. I think you are Spike Lee's dad. This must be Spike Lee's dad from Harlem, with all this misinformation going on.
People do you?
Other than my daughter, who's black.
Your daughter is not black. I'm looking at your face, and you don't look black to me.
My daughter is black.
Is, huh? Who's her father?
I am.
You're not black, son.
No, so I'm not my daughter's father?
You are not a black man, are you?
I'm a black parent.
What are you, stupid or what? You can.
No, but obviously you are.
You are not black.
I am white, and my daughter is black.
How did that happen?
Well, how would such a thing happen?
Maybe your girlfriend had the baby already, so you're the stepfather.
No, I'm not a stepfather.
Well, you did not give birth to that child.
Well, I'm a man. I don't give birth to any children. I'm a man. I don't give birth to any children. See, he's all confused now.
White man.
What's that?
What? Your DNA makes you a white man.
I am white with a black daughter.
Black baby.
Well, she's not a baby. She's now, my daughter is 23 years old, but she is black.
Freaking nature, man.
No, it's
having a black child.
Really? You know, Barack Obama is black, right?
His father is black.
His mother's white, and he's black.
Father, which made him black, is black.
My daughter's adopted. My daughter's adopted, Harlem.
Very smart. How'd you get a show?
Oh.
White, that's why.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Don't you? You like Trump too, right?
No, I love Trump.
Figured that. And you know Trump's dad liked the Klan too, don't you? You know that, right? Did you?
No, that's not true. But my daughter is adopted.
Oh, that's clever. She's adopted. Oh.
Oh, that's a bad thing?
Does she absorb your DNA now or something?
Is she a what?
Black and it doesn't make her white.
No, she's black and I'm her father.
Okay. All right. And what now? She's going to turn into a white girl now or what?
She's a woman. She's 23 and she's a black woman.
Good. Maybe she'll marry a black man, and they should run away from you.
Why should they run? Why should my child? Why should they run away from me?
Because you're a danger.
What's dangerous about me? What's dangerous about me?
You're a danger.
What's dangerous about me?
You're a typical, inept, incompetent, insipid white man who thinks you're superior to everybody but. And the fact of the matter is, this is just the opposite. The sun hates you.
What sun? The sun hates me. What sun hates me?
Sun in the sky.
Why? Why does the sun in the sky hate me?
No.
Why would the sun hate me in the sky?
The sun, if you stay out there too long, you'll find out you'll turn red.
Oh, so the sun hates me because I'm white.
Not my fault.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Take it up with God. It ain't my fault.
Oh, God hates white people too?
Does.
The Bible says that God hates white people?
You're white. He calls you red.
Oh, where in the Bible can I find? Give me the chapter and verse. I'll look it up. That says God hates white people.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up while we're talking. Romans.
Romans chapter 9, verse 13.
Okay, hold on. Romans 9:13 says God hates white people. Oh, but that's what you said.
Oh.
Yeah, as it is written, okay, I looked it up, Romans 9:13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Okay. Where's the part that's white, about white people?
Who is Esau?
I don't know, you tell me. A white guy?
Esau is you.
What does that, really?
The British, the French, the Americans, you. You are Esau.
Well, Romans are like, Mediterranean. Brown skin.
Man, you know that, right?
Jesus was black?
Black?
Really?
Jesus. Moses was black. You know that, right?
Really? I thought he was a Jew. I thought Moses and Jesus were Jews. I know lots of Jews. Not many of them are black.
They all were black.
Wow.
Read a book sometimes.
Not what you're reading.
What's hiding in Egypt?
I should read a book? What book is that? What book should I read? The autobiography of Malcolm X? Well, you're taking different things from the Bible than I've heard. I got to tell you, what I wonder about you? Charlton has to, I know. You know what I wonder about you? What must it be like? What must it be like for a black racist in Harlem to live in a place? Yeah, you're racist. Well, by your example, but excuse me, what must it be like for a man who hates white people so much living in what is a white neighborhood now, Harlem?
Pretty stupid.
No, but it must be very frustrating for you to live in this white neighborhood of Harlem with the Starbucks and the dog parks around.
Dumb idiot. I live in a white country. Do I have a choice?
Sure, you can move anywhere you like.
Oh, really? Give me the money.
Why should I give you money to move?
You're the ones that took it.
What did I take?
Oh my God. Did
read?
What did I take?
You know how much money? Like, you're familiar with Black Wall Street, right?
Yeah. The Democrats burned it down. Yeah.
With how much money the cotton industry...
The cotton... Hey, listen, Harlem, I got to run for a break, but I appreciate the call. Hey, listen, Harlem, welcome to the program. I hope to hear from you again. Oh, my goodness. We have little babies dead in an elementary school in Texas. I get 2 black Democrats calling me today. The first one wants to make sure the audience doesn't think he's gay and has some female voice behind him, which may have just been something on YouTube he played. That's Al from Coral Springs. Second black Democrat liberal calls in from Harlem, dead babies in Texas. And all he wants to talk about is Black Wall Street and the 60s. That's your Democrat base, people. That's your Democrat base.
Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642.
These callers.
You're listening to WWNN Pompano Beach, 1470 AM, 95.3 in Boca, 96.9 in Lauderdale. The talk of South Florida.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about
an NYU professor? That would involve having a job.
Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on the air and told him about his experience.
If he was a professor, we would have known it. He would have told us. Believe me.
Your sponsor is a miracle worker. I broke my tooth. I fractured it and went backwards in my mouth. Oh my front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti. And I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later. And I said, what am I going to do? You know? The dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it and to tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I traveled 139 miles. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Each way. Okay? The man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours. Put a pin in it. Put it back in place. I could eat anything I want. He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I can eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception, okay, in New York City. He knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line? Dr. Gupta. Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's...
Not all people in Harlem are racist, I'm sure, but certainly that caller was.
You know, dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it, and Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is top shelf, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Listen to the Uncle High Show, afternoons on WWNN Talk Radio.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for help.
You know, our radio stations have a billboard campaign been going on for the past few weeks throughout South Florida. And they are brilliant billboards. And they fit right into that last caller. Most of them are off of I-95. And the one, I drive by one all the time, that is on southbound I-95, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of I-95. And it says 95.3 FM talk radio. We don't hate all New Yorkers. And then there's another billboard that says, if you don't like us, go back to New York. And, you know, I called the Uncle High show a while back, and I was talking about this brilliant phrase, if you don't like us, go back to New York, we don't hate all New Yorkers. And of course we don't hate all New Yorkers. Steve Kane's a New Yorker. Of course our great president, Donald Trump, is a New Yorker. You know, Don Jr. is a New Yorker. You know, so, you know, we love those New Yorkers, no doubt about that. But there's an arrogance with New Yorkers. You know, that caller from Harlem, did you hear his tone at the beginning? Calling from Harlem, New York. Like I'm supposed to stop what I'm doing, and it's like when a millennial calls in and tells you they're a millennial. Because he's from Harlem, I'm supposed to stand here and listen to all the wisdom that is going to come out of the oracle of all knowledge. There's a definite arrogance among New Yorkers. And I don't quite get it. I mean, you know, these guys, they act like they founded the city and built it from nothing after they bought it from the Indians for, what was it, $12 for some beads or something they gave the Indians? I don't know. There's just a tone with New Yorkers. But I was thinking about our billboard campaign with that last caller from New York. I love it. All right. Now, but the main topic today, though, has been this god-awful tragedy in Texas. And it is just... I saw I was reading an article early this morning, and it showed the photographs of these poor little babies, because that's what they are in elementary school. They're babies that were murdered by this monster, and it's horrific. And I got to tell you, shame on the Democrats. Shame on the Democrats. There are children still in surgery. There are parents and grandparents still looking for their little one. They know what's happened. You've seen the grandfather on television. They know she's gone. You know, she just hasn't been identified yet, but they're hanging on to hope that they're going to find the 10-year-old little girl. Hopefully they do, and they have since I've been on the air. But they're holding on to that hope. And what are the Democrats doing? Going out and really, in a way, high-fiving one another that they got an issue now. The Democrats are in trouble. This country is in a bad state. It has been totally wrecked in a year and a half by Joe Biden. And you see how out of it he is. I saw him get off Air Force One. The man could hardly walk. I saw him talk last night, totally checked out. Everything in this country has been wrecked by this guy. In very short time, too. The country is fed up with Democrats. Fed up with Democrats. They just have. I've been fed up with them for a while now, and it's gotten worse. And we're in the midterm election season, which historically the party in power loses seats in a midterm election. But this time, the red tsunami is being talked about by a lot of people. I mean, you hear that comment, very common, the red tsunami. They're going to try to take something out of, Kemp winning. Hey, a Republican still won. That's how bad it is for Democrats, that they have to take a victory by being happy that a Republican won the Republican primary in Georgia for governor. I mean, that's how bad it is for them. The baby food famine, the inflation. We were talking yesterday on the show about the out-of-control rent prices, and the shooting happened, and all the Democrats can think about is how they can take advantage of, don't let a good crisis go to waste, Rahm Emanuel, how they can take this terrible tragedy that none of us even want to think about because it's so god-awful what happened, and how they can use this to their advantage to win some seats and not lose as bad in November. They're sick. They're sick people. You know, listen, there's not always a reason why something happened. There's not always a solution. Crazy, sick people do crazy, sick things. Bundy, Gacy, the Gainesville killer. I was talking about how this monster in Texas looks like the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez. How many people did Ramirez kill? I don't know. Evil, sick killers are going to find ways to do it. My goodness, Oklahoma City was fertilizer. A lot of it, but fertilizer. You know, trying to find rhyme or reason to stop lunatic, sociopathic psychopaths there's just no solution to it. You know, there have been incidents like this in different ways forever. Okay, and Biden can say, you're going to hear a lot of Democrats say today, this doesn't happen. You know, Biden just came back from Japan. This doesn't happen in Japan. What was that incident that happened years ago on the subway? And Japan has a long history of god-awful mass murders of even American prisoners of war during the Second World War, okay? So I don't want to hear anything that all these other countries are morally superior and don't have any of these problems. They do in different ways all the time, okay? And they still have problems. All right? So this superiority thing, because they think they got an issue. Gun control is not going to happen, and it's not a popular issue. Now listen, I'm going to take this break at the bottom of the hour on time, so I'll have a full segment to talk when we get back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be back right after this.
Brian Craig here with a huge announcement from the Thomas Edison of sleep, the inventor of the My Pillow, Mike Lindell. And My Pillow are now offering a BOGO extravaganza on multiple My Pillow items. Right now at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E at checkout. Buy one, get free pricing on My Pillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance My Pillows, the 6-piece My Pillow towel set, and the My Pillow Roll and Go Anywhere My Pillows, and so much more. Just go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener specials. Use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout, or call toll-free 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. The BOGO extravaganza at MyPillow.com with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. And with each purchase, for free, you will get a copy of Mike Lindell's autobiography. Call 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Or go to the radio listener special page at MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Dr. Matez here from the Biostation West Delray. Many of you are familiar with the famous erection injection, an extremely effective treatment for erectile dysfunction made popular right here on the Steve Kane Show. I'm here to tell you that the erection injection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the extensive array of treatment options now available at the Biostation West Delray. Our custom compounded products yield combinations and dosages that increase the efficacy of Viagra and Cialis greatly. We also offer treatments that can correct the problem at its source, such as PRP and sound wave pulse therapies that restore your natural function. State-of-the-art testing and the most current treatment options all available in one place, the Biostation West Delray. If you want to correct your erectile problems once and for all, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Attention seniors. Have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust Workshop. Make sure you and your family are properly protected even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to creditors, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life. Learn how to avoid being forced to spend down your assets. Learn how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets. workshop with Attorney Barry Siegel is Thursday, May 26th at 10 a.m. at the South County Civic Center in Delray. Seating is limited, so reserve your seat for this free estate planning workshop and call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE. That's 855-352-3782. 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for him.
All right, 33 minutes after the hour. Now, I will say this NRA event, they should cancel that. Okay? They should cancel that. You know, and broadcasting, if there's a disaster, like if there, you know, after 9/11, radio and TV stations did not run airline commercials for a while. If there's a plane crash in general, beyond just that, you wouldn't. Okay? So it's not a good idea to have the NRA event. That should be canceled. Okay? It's inappropriate to have it right now, just so you know. But with that being said, I'm telling you Democrats out there, you know, instead of trying to put Republicans on the defense who have nothing to defend against here, this has nothing to do with gun owners or the Second Amendment or any of us. This is a madman who did a terrible, horrific, god-awful, unimaginable thing. But if you want gun control, you talk to the Democrats. The Democrats control the White House and both houses of Congress. They can pass major, whatever federal gun control legislation they want right now. They can pass it, and Biden will sign it. Why aren't they doing it? Biden didn't even talk about that, because they can't even get the Democrats to go along with it. That's how unpopular the issue is. So don't blame the NRA, blame the Democrats. They control everything right now for a few more months. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Juan.
Hey, Juan.
Good morning. Listen, I don't even know where to begin. I think you guys know that I'm a parent of my kid was in high school when that crazy man took a shot at all those kids, and
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas you're talking about.
Yeah, my son was a freshman the very year that happened. He's out of high school back now, but it's not about that. And by the way, that caller from Harlem, the hatred in his heart is palpable.
Oh, isn't it?
And then to sit there and use the Bible to justify what you know.
Yeah, sitting in his rent-controlled apartment in Harlem.
Well, I don't even want to spend. You spent a lot of time on that guy, but here's the thing that I'm sincerely asking this. And by the way, good morning to Steve and yourself. Is it and I'm asking this from the bottom of my heart, because this hits me near and dear to my heart. These school shootings that keep on happening over and over and over again. And it doesn't matter what administration is on top. But the one thing I do know is not enough is being done to stop it. And what I would like to know from you, your opinion and your callers, your listeners, is it fair to say that when prayer was taken out of school, these school shootings became more prevalent?
I think there's a lot of factors. Okay, I don't think it's prayer. I was talking about this earlier. I think when the liberals brought in no-fault divorce, and you don't have any fathers around anymore in these shootings, there's no dads in these instances that we're talking about, right? But here's the thing, and you went through something that I cannot even imagine. Your child was a freshman at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School the day that animal who sits in court laughing all the time in front of this judge that everyone likes to talk about how hot she is, who can't even get a jury together. What you went through that day, I cannot even imagine.
My heart goes out to the ones that lost.
Yeah, but that was a rough day. How long after the shooting until you knew your son was safe?
And you know what? I happened to be down there in Key West, and
oh my goodness.
The radio contact is slim to none down there in Key West, working. But, once I started getting close to Dade County is when I heard that there was a school shooting, and then I was worried about it. But then when I found out it was Marjorie Stoneham, I started to go crazy. The first person I had to call was my mother to see if my son was alive. And my niece and nephew, they were going there. I mean, it was just a terrible day, and I'm reliving.
Yeah. Well, you can, but let me tell you about Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and why that happened. On the day of the event of the massacre, what happened because of that fat, overweight, bum coward of the county deputy, okay, that got the radio call from the janitor, okay, who said Nicholas Cruz is on campus with a bag, walking purposefully towards Building 12, and that fat ass. Who should be in jail for manslaughter, hid and called in fake radio calls when he could have gone in on the first floor and taken him out on the first floor before he went upstairs and killed everybody, okay? Like those unarmed school teachers did. So that happened right there. That could have been prevented if that cop, these cops that are so fat they can't see their penis when they pee are hobbling around and afraid, waiting for his six-figure pension. The other one, yeah.
Not only that, Brian, but that, I've heard all the radio transfers.
Thank you. Everyone thank
Vladik. At first when I was somewhat, obsessed, they knew exactly who did it.
Turns awesome. I watched it. Its first run. It's very good.
Everybody, that cop that was there to protect our children was there and you know what he told all the other Broward people that were coming over there to help? Stay back 500 feet.
Yeah, they had a lady deputy. They had a lady deputy. Lieutenant or something, lieutenant or captain, go take. So but that resource officer got those. There were three floors in Building 12 at Stoneman, right? And most of the murders, I believe, were done on the top floor. And that fat ass cop under the stairs calling in fake radio calls, got him killed.
And I want to thank the Coral Springs police who actually just went in there and stopped it.
Well, there was one off-duty Coral Springs cop who was watering the grass, who went in and borrowed a gun and a vest and went in flip-flops and shorts. You know who I'm talking about. But this, so everything, listen, we all know what happened before. They didn't want the crime stats, but I'm telling you that if the cop at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas would have done his job, he would have gotten Cruz on the first floor, and maybe no one would have been killed, or it would have just been, those teachers went in unarmed and got killed, and that guy's calling in the fake radio calls under the stairwell, and then what happened? The sheriff at the time covered for him and everything. So that happened. That happened because of law enforcement inaction. And I know we have a lot of police officers listening, and I know the police officers listening agree with me about that guy. But I was talking about this thing in Texas, though, with a caller earlier from Texas, and I was hoping she had some info from the local news that I've not been able to find. This guy in Texas shot his grandmother, and then he wrecked his truck in that ditch and then went to the school. And what I'm trying to figure out was, did he intend that morning to go to the school and do this, or did he end up there because there was a pursuit going on?
I'd like to know, his Facebook, because this guy over here that committed the atrocities over here, that should have never happened. Never mind that the cop already could have saved life, but the FBI had intel on him. The Broward County, Broward Sheriff's Department had intel on him, and nobody.
And since your kid went to Parkland, like I did when I ran into Cruz, everybody around him knew he was insane and evil. I mean, when I saw that guy, I was looking over my shoulder at the gas pump. I was scared of him. And I just saw him when I was getting my coffee.
By the way, I just have one more thing I wanted to ask you. I started listening to this show. I know exactly what day, which was October 1st, 2017. I want to know what happened to that mass killer in Vegas that killed 50, most probably, Trump supporters in Las Vegas. I don't know if it's Las Vegas or somewhere in Nevada that killed 50 people from.
We never got a story out of that, and that was my belief that was a country music outdoor music festival, and chances are, if you're at an outdoor country music festival in 2017, that's a MAGA audience. I believe it was a lefty targeting Trump supporters, and we never got a story about that.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care, Juan. Yeah, his son went to freshman at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas at the time of the terrible event. Oh my goodness! I remember where I was. I was at the mall when I heard about that, when that shooting happened. I remember it well, down the street from the radio station here. Yeah, you know, I don't want people to think I'm attacking cops. I'm attacking that cop at Parkland. Because I say, I know we got a lot of police officers that listen, and I've talked to police officers I know. They all agree about that guy. You know? And what happened to that case? Brushed under the rug, you know? All right, our number, 888-GO-CANE-1. Great calls today on a rough day. It's a rough day. You know, days like this are rough days to do a talk radio show. It's not a pleasant topic. And I got to tell you, this is... We've heard from a lot of liberals today. Every liberal has been disturbed. From Louisiana in hour one to the Harlem Oracle. You know? And everyone in between. We've heard from more Democrats today than in a while, in one day, right? All the Democrats have been lining up on the phones today. All these liberals. And none of them, think about this. We've had liberals call in from the very beginning of this show this morning as we wind down towards the final segment. Not one of them had an unkind word about this monster that did what he did in Texas yesterday. You notice that? Mad at me, mad at Trump, mad at the NRA. Not one person had an unkind word about the murderer of those babies in Texas. The left are sick. All right, let's take our last break of the day, come back with the Gold Report. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll get to the calls after the break. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for now, but it's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your...
Hey there. Oh, good. We got you today. We're going to be off tomorrow, but back on Friday, just to give you a heads up. All right? All right. Okay, hold on. All right, and it is time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated right here in Boca with the first look at gold and the other precious metals markets for today. William Youngerman, how the metals look this morning?
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good, good. Well, the precious metals are doing great also. Even though we're down today, we've had a nice up week for the last several trading days after gold put in a low last week of $1,785 and then turned around and did a reversal. We've seen real strength in the metal going forward. as a safe haven for money, and that took gold to another high yesterday, temporary, sort of high, $1,865.40 on the close yesterday. That was up $11.90. Silver traded up 31 cents at $22.08 on the close. That's the first time we've been over $22 for about a week or so. Platinum up or down $1 yesterday at $954, and palladium up $16 at $1,944. Today we got a little bit of a pullback after this nice $65 gain that we've had over the last few days, with the U.S. dollar going lower. Today we've got it back up a little bit, pushing gold back down $12.50 right now, after trading in a range of $1,851 to $1,868 overnight. Right now gold at $1,853.50. That's down $12.50. Silver down 28 cents at $21.81 the ounce. Platinum at $943. That's down $11. And palladium $1,934. That's down $10 the ounce.
Yeah, so.
$1,850.
Yeah, and everything's looking good. Now today, people that stop in or call and are looking to buy gold, silver, platinum, what specifically are you recommending to people pick up today?
Gold and some silver, because silver under $22 is a screen. And gold at these levels, 1850, may turn out to be a great support level, and that's pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, and when William Youngerman says take advantage of a pullback, that's a buy recommendation, no doubt. Okay, now they open up over William Youngerman's at 10 a.m. You can stop in, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road, right here in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or give them a call. And no matter where you're located, they can do business with you, not just out of town and out of state, but internationally as well. Toll free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, have a great day. We'll talk later in the week.
Thank you, you too.
All right, take care. All right, just a few minutes left. Let's take some calls. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Let's listen. What's going on in the background? Hello? Oh, there's a conversation going on. Let's listen. Good morning. Oh, I was enjoying the conversation in the background. What was so funny?
This clown thinks he's master of the universe. In any case, let's talk about the issue of
What is your name and where are you calling from?
You know what this is. I gotta tell you.
Oh, this is Liberal Al.
But that Coral Springs call that who shares the same first name as me. But in any case,
you called me, Al, so you must have something to say.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, Democrats can't pass the bill until we have 60 senators, and you know better.
You can still bring it up for a vote.
So it doesn't get 60 votes? Okay.
Well, if you listen, so when it comes to gun control, what would you like to see happen?
I like the red flag law.
What is that? The red flag law with an L. What does that mean? What is that?
Right now, it's in 17 states. It's not.
No, but what is that? What is you want the red flag law nationally? What is that law, and what would it do?
It basically it would give police the permission to take a gun away from a kid that's been threatening people with a gun or.
Well, you don't need a law if somebody's okay. If someone is threatening someone with a gun, that's a crime. You don't need a new law. A police officer can take a gun away from anyone who's threatening someone with a gun. That's illegal. So what gun control law? No. If I have my gun and I'm threatening people with it, any police officer can legally take it from me and arrest me. That's a crime. You're not allowed to threaten people with a weapon. What new laws would you like?
That's not
apparently you're not well versed in
yeah.
the bill that Susan Collins. Hello.
Yes, I'm here. I don't know why, but I'm here.
Susan Collins is a co-sponsor of the bill. I'll tell you what. I'll send you an email so you can.
Well, what is in this Susan Collins bill that would prevent a mass shooting like the one in Texas yesterday?
Okay. Well, how about let's go with the one with the guy that went to the Buffalo. They had information about him prior to him ever entering that supermarket.
What?
This clown that murdered 19 children, I believe.
He's a clown? Like,
there was warning signals about him, just like there was Nicholas Cruz. Exact same warning signal.
I'm asking you, what law do you want to pass that would stop not a clown, a monster, from doing what this monster did yesterday, Al?
There, in the state of Florida, the red flag law that's passed in Florida has already prevented over 600 Floridians from.
Really? There's been there's a law in Florida that has prevented 600 people from being murdered?
No, 600 people who were threatened with a gun, and they went to court, and they went and took the gun away.
Give me a specific example of, without a red flag law, where someone can threaten someone with a weapon, with a gun, and the police cannot do anything.
You're twisting it around.
No. You said that he's whispering. He doesn't want people around him to hear his stupidity. You said the police can't take a gun away from someone who's threatening people with the gun. I want to know. That's.
I'm the one that has Congressman Bobby Scott here. I'm the one that has Congressman Deutsch's here. I'm the one that has Lois Frankel's here. You don't.
Well, these are people that have the counsel of very bad people. I don't want them. I don't want to have their ear, okay? I don't want to have the ear of Democrats. What I'm asking you is, yeah.
Let me just give you a compliment. That home call was one of your probably your best 10 calls in the last 2-3 years.
Nah, I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far. But you are aware that in all 50 states and the U.S. territories, that murder is illegal?
Of course murder is illegal.
Well, why do they happen? If we have laws on the books outlawing murder and the school is a gun-free zone, why are murders still happening if they're illegal?
You're aware of the fact.
No. I didn't ask for a question. I asked a question to get an answer. You want laws that will prevent these things. Murder is illegal in all 50 U.S. states. Why, if we have a law on the books outlawing murder, why are murders still happening?
If somebody is guilty of domestic violence, they can't have
This guy had no domestic violence, unless you include shooting grandma, and it didn't have time. See, people that break the law don't obey the laws, right?
If grandma would have made a complaint to the local police department, they would have came into his house.
But he shot grandma. There's not enough time for that. He shot her and then left and went to the school. What's so funny? There's 19 dead. There's 19 dead children. There's 19 dead babies, and you're laughing. What's wrong with you?
Because I'm thinking about those crazy videos where grandma was shot for Christmas. You know, those super YouTube.
Yeah, well, you're a lunatic. I don't find anything funny here.
I find it funny that you don't understand the fact that 17 states, and Florida is one of them, has passed a law that when any kind of, whether they have the gun in their hands or not, just threatening to shoot somebody with witnesses is a crime.
That's right.
And now in 17 states, not all 50, but in 17 states, the police can get a hearing and come into somebody's house and take the gun away. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, how would that stop yesterday? But how would that stop yesterday?
Now all laws are going to stop all murders, you know.
Oh, laws don't stop murders. Oh, well, then what are we talking about here? All right, guys. Hey, listen, thanks, everyone, for joining us today. Don't forget, Father's Day right around the corner. Lowest price ever on the My Pillow, My Slippers. $90 off the My Pillow, My Slippers for Father's Day. Both slippers for men and women with the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. Great Father's Day gift. The My Pillow bathrobes, 30% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. There's not a MAGA dad in America who would not love to have a My Pillow bathrobe and a pair of My Pillow, My Slippers. Huge discounts, and the BOGO extravaganza continues too. With the promo code KANE, KANE at MyPillow.com. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Don't forget, Neil Rogers, afternoons at 3 on all of our radio stations. The best of Neil Rogers from 3 to 4, followed by Uncle High from 4 to 6, taking your calls. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977.
You're listening to WWNN Pompano Beach, 1470 AM, 95.3 in Boca, 96.9 in Lawrence.
Steve Kane Show. Yes, we're all out of time for today. Can you call in tomorrow? The show's over. Okay, call tomorrow. Call tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. Too bad that guy called. That was a lunatic. Oh, my goodness. Hey, everyone. Make sure you like the video before you go. If you're new here, subscribe. Some of these callers are just insane. And, you know, all of the callers that were liberal today, even the last guy, nothing to say about the shooter. It's about this, it's about that. Nothing to say about the shooter. I mean, these are just really bizarre, strange people. Just strange people. You know, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, you know what Michael Savage says about liberalism, right? Liberalism is a mental disorder, right? As a mental illness. And Dr. Savage may not be a psychologist or a medical doctor, but he's right about that. Hey, if Joe Biden can call herself a doctor all the time, so can Savage, right? All right, guys, listen, I've got to take off. I'll see you soon. Again, make sure you like the video and also subscribe if you're new. I'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. Great calls today and great conversation in the chat, too. And I also want to say thank you to the moderators who I think make the show a lot better, because I'm not distracted by having to watch all the trolls in the chat, because the moderators keep an eye on the chat. So a big thank you to all the moderators. All right, guys, take care.